You remember the feeling, that quiet hum of absolute certainty. The warmth that settled in your chest, telling you, this one is different. This one is safe. It felt like coming home after years in the wilderness. You dropped your guard. You spoke truths you hadn't whispered to yourself in the dark. You opened the vault. And then, the quiet click. The cold understanding that rushed in, like water into a sinking ship. That sanctuary? It was a cage. That key you handed over? It was forged specifically for your lock. That sinking dread you feel. The silent question gnawing at your insides. How could I have been so blind? You weren't blind. You were targeted. You were precisely, meticulously engineered. They didn't just earn your trust. They built it, brick by careful brick. A slow, deliberate construction, designed to wall you in, not to protect you. This isn't about friendship. It's about access. It's about the most sophisticated form of leverage, permission. Permission to wound you, to take from you, to control you. Because you trusted them. Trust is a lever. The mechanism is insidious in its simplicity. It starts with affinity. They echo your values. They mirror your gestures. They articulate your unspoken fears, your secret hopes. You feel seen. You feel understood. This isn't genuine connection. It's a meticulously crafted reflection. A chameleon adapting to your very soul. Then comes the vulnerability exchange. They offer a secret, a curated, slightly uncomfortable confession that seems to lower their own defenses. You, driven by the ancient wiring of reciprocity, offer one back. A deeper one, a real one. This isn't intimacy. It's a transaction, a careful calibration of risk, where you feel you're getting something, when in reality, you're just giving more. You're overpaying. They test your boundaries gently. A small request, a slight push against your comfort zone. When you acquiesce, a precedent is set. Your compliance becomes a thread, woven into the fabric of your perceived bond. Cialdini's principle of consistency is at play. We strive to appear consistent in our actions, especially to those we've decided we trust. Once you've said yes to small things, saying no to larger things becomes psychologically harder. Your vulnerability, their weapon. Think of it as a subtle, psychological infiltration, not a brute force attack. No, that would trigger your defenses. This is a quiet, strategic deployment of an internal Trojan horse. You welcome it in. You believe it's a gift, a sign of mutual regard. But inside, it holds the blueprint to your collapse. Robert Greene, in his Studies of Power, understood the necessity of knowing your enemy, but also knowing how to disarm them. And what disarms us more completely than the illusion of unconditional acceptance? The feeling that someone truly, finally, gets you? It makes you drop your shield. It makes you welcome the blade. We are taught trust is sacred, a foundation. But what if it's merely the softest part of the wall, designed for a precision breach? What if the feeling of safety it brings is just the anesthetic before the operation? The mask falls. Machiavelli would nod. He understood the appearance of virtue as a tool. Not actual virtue, but the utility of appearing so. To gain the confidence of the people. To then act without impediment. The modern manipulator takes it a step further. Appear loved, then extract what you need. This isn't about blaming the victim. It's about dissecting the mechanism. It's about understanding that the warmth you felt, the bond you believed in, might have been nothing more than a carefully constructed key. A specific frequency designed to bypass your natural instincts, to unlock the deepest chambers of yourself. It was never real. This reframe isn't about becoming cynical. It's about becoming clear-eyed. It's about recognizing the architecture of manipulation, even when it's cloaked in the guise of genuine connection. It's about seeing that a shared secret can be a bond, or it can be a chain. A vulnerable confession can be a moment of human connection, or it can be a data point. The question isn't whether you can trust. It's whether you can identify the asterisk craft of trust. The conscious, deliberate cultivation of it, not as an end in itself, but as a means. A tool to gain access. To gain control. The price of belonging. Your task, if you choose to accept this forbidden knowledge, is not to retreat into suspicion, but to observe with new eyes. To dissect the subtle engineering that goes into building what we call trust. To understand its raw mechanics. For the next 7 days, you will observe the mechanics of engineered trust. Here is your challenge. 1. Identify a new interaction in your life, or even an existing one that feels new after this insight, where trust is being established or deepened. It could be with a new colleague, a salesperson, a casual acquaintance, or even a public figure's communication style. 2. Actively note the gifts being offered. These aren't always physical objects. They can be compliments, shared vulnerabilities, expressions of understanding, or even just sustained, focused attention. 3. Observe the subtle pressure for reciprocity. Does the other person's disclosure implicitly or explicitly encourage you to reveal something of your own? Does their favor make you feel obligated to offer one in return? 4. Look for shared vulnerabilities. Are they presenting themselves as flawed, just like you? Are they creating a sense of us against the world, even if the world is just a minor inconvenience? 5. Examine the requests that follow the trust-building phase. Once a certain level of comfort or perceived bond is established, what do they ask for? Is it a favor, information, an endorsement, or your time? 6. Notice if the relationship, despite its apparent warmth, begins to feel transactional. Does it always seem to lead to a request, an obligation, or a shift in power dynamics? 7. Finally, reflect on your own impulse to trust. Where does it come from in these moments? Is it a genuine connection or a response to psychological triggers designed to lower your defenses? Do not act on what you observe. Simply watch, learn, see the wires, understand the machine, because once you see how the key is forged, you can choose not to hand over the lock.